evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Dayon, and we are here today in the Blaze division. And we're in Q1 qualifying, short qualifying, and it is, I believe, 20 plus laps of the Spa race. Um, 22 laps of the Spa race. And we have 17 drivers in. I believe we have 18 drivers now in with Tong joining. I believe two more drivers will be joining through the session, and that will be Rodwell and someone else. I cannot remember their names. But here we are. I'll turn on the qualifying for you. It's just the first round of drivers that are currently going out now. So nothing really much to note. We have the first driver out on track, which is Limitless Draco in the McLaren. Just bear with me one moment. Cool. So drivers, we have crossplay on, so do remember that there is no formation laps after this session has started. Drivers are just doing their out laps at the moment. We are in Spa. It is a wonderfully sunny day. Let me just check in with my race engineer to let you know if it will be raining during the race. Will it? It will be completely dry throughout the race, so that would be great. Slightly sad for me. I would love to see um a wet race to commentate on, but it is what it is. Nevertheless, we go and disable. Why is this not working? Cool. There we go. We disable it. So, Limitless Draco will be the first driver to set a lap, and we'll just stay on board with him. And he will just guide us on a lap around Spa. So, we go through turn one, which is called a last source. We're coming down it's called a mini straight where the DRS is activated in the main race. And now we come through Eau Rouge, which is at the very bottom of the hill, and 16-story rise up to Radion and down the main Camel Straight. So turn 3, 4 is called Radion, all the way down the Camel Straight. Now we come to the Les Com chicane, heavy braking zone. Obviously, it goes purple in that sector. We're coming down to Brussels, or we call it a Rivard chicane, turn 8. Speaker's Corner now. This corner is renamed in the Jackie X corner in 2018, or sometimes Martin and Crofty calls it the No Name corner. Now we come down to the very bottom, which is called Puan corner, which is a very, very, very tight corner. You want to take it fully flat out. Or this is called the Piff Path chicane because it goes literally right, left. You want to just clip the apex curbs down to Campus. Then we have Savant and Paul Ferrer curve. That's the Curva Grande, I like to call it, which is in Monza, but it's slightly a curve here, and you have to take it fully flat out. Now we come down to Blanchimont and now to the bus stop chicane, which you want to get absolutely right. Spot on the braking, carry a lot of speed into the chicane, so that means you can get a perfect exit out of it. Careful not to overtake the car. He puts in a 1:42.6. Well done to Draco. Next driver across the line is Haaland, who is our local Belgium, and this is his home track, and he puts in the fastest lap of a 1:41.4. Below him is Switcheroo in the Ferrari with 1:42.3, which is quite a gap to make up to Haaland. Yeah. So we have a few new drivers on board at the moment, and the first driver is Ryan. I believe he's on PC. Not too much about him or his pace, but it's his first race of us. So welcome, Ryan. We have obviously a few returning drivers, Reza, and in the house at the moment, Sir Spongy, which just put in a 1:43.5. Ezo, who's in the Alpine, a 142.9. David Clark, who's in the Mercedes today, is in a puts in a 142.7. AG in the Alpine, which is Ezra's teammate, 142.3, but there's still a large gap to Haaland. That's nearly a second gap to Haaland. And yes, if you're wondering, on his outlap at the moment is the champion or to be champion, F Rose, who's currently won 3 Inferno races in a row. So I believe he's won 2 Blaze races and one Inferno race, and he's currently on his outlap at the moment. And it'd probably be one of the closest qualifiers to the home hero of Haaland, or Marvinovic, as some of you may know him. We'll just go on board with Rose. I believe he's on his first outlap. It looks like he's just taking it easy for now, and not pushing it too much, which means that he's probably going to just do 2 runs in this qualifying session. Again, it's a short qualifying session, so yeah, just taking it a bit easy. Reza pops in a 43 dead to put himself into P8, and Tom puts in a 43.9. We have another driver on board now who's going through Pool 1 at the moment, and it's called SM. Not sure how you do it. Law 16 has retired in the RB. I'm not sure what happened, but I believe something happened out on track. That's it. Law is Kieran, and he has a qualifying, so yeah, he'll be starting from the back of the grid in P18. And yeah, that's fine for an incident that happened in the Inferno division. So SM is coming up he's joining the Williams and he's coming up to the line, and he looks like he'll put in a decent lap. Not too fast, but take that back, it's a 142.7, so that's good. What we'll do now is switch on board with F Rose to see how he goes down, as he powers himself down the Camel Straight. And you won't want to look into this sector too much. He does go purple in this sector because everyone similarly roughly has the same time. You should be in the 131s in that sector. So 31 second in that first split. He locks up into the Rivage chicane. Down he goes, touches the grass, kicks up a little bit of sand, but he gets it done. Well, through Pool when he goes, as he comes up to the Piff Pack chicane. Looking good. Let's see his second split time, what that will be. Riding that curb, threading the needle, and his second chicane will come up, and he goes purple within that sector as well. So he's currently up on Haaland. Haaland will need to, well, I believe he's just in the pitch just looking out for this and where it will place him and how much he'll need to improve by. Haaland may need to go out again once more. And there he goes. F Rose is now coming up to the line. As he powers down, he goes P2, and there is a significant gap to Haaland. And that gap is incredible. Let's just go on board and just see the gap to the leader. It's 7/10 the gap is F Rose to Haaland. So yeah, it's quite a large comfort zone that Haaland has there. And I believe he has not done much practice for this race because that's Haaland. I mean, because he's just switched from his controller to a rig, and I think he's back on his controller at the moment, or he's still in his rig, I believe. But yeah, not much practice, and he just come back to dominate with a bang. I believe he's trying to do every single race displays division and this season, so it'd be something to look out for. Drivers that we need to be improved by is we're looking at Alex Hendricks, who is a actually specialist when it comes to the race. Qualifying, not his strong suit, but in the races he pulls through some masterful performances. Kermack, who I believe is Sakus, is returning to us for the first time in a while in the house. I believe he has a lot of pace to find. Tong in the Aston Martin will also have a lot of pace to find. His teammate, who's normally here, is not. Yeah, so it's quite interesting. As Hallam goes out on his outlap at the moment, he's about to start his lap as he comes up to La Source. The mini DRS as the Mercedes just pops open his rear wing. He wants to make that run as short as possible. Heavy braking into turn one as he pops into La Source. Locks up a little bit, but he wants to get just the left hand side of the car on that chicane. Powers down as he comes up to Eau Rouge. Ensure that he takes as much apex as he can. Careful not to bottom out as you go through Radion down the Camel Straight. As you see that Mercedes rear wing pop right open. The Belgian is going, presumably for his final run, because you never know what can happen around around Spa. Through to the Lescombe chicane. Then he goes through Maldid. Then down now through Rivage. Again, locks up. I believe that's a tire glitch. That's not really them locking up. It's just what happens when, yeah, you just brake heavy, I guess. But let's see his second sector split time. Remember, the first sector is not so important because it's just a straight, really. So everyone's has their DRS open, so it doesn't really indicate anything of true pace. He has a bit of back markers ahead of him, but his split time is up. He's up by a tenth and a half on his personal best, which will put him in the 141.3 region, which is absolutely insane. But let's see how far he can push this. A driver that needs to improve, and we'll be looking out for his switcheroo. So we'll be looking out for him. And Hallen puts in Agar. He lost time in the final sector. He did not improve. He lost a tenth and a half there on his final sector. What we'll do now is go on board with another driver that's pushing. So I believe that driver at the moment is Limitless Draco. So let's see where he can place his McLaren. I believe this is his first race in Blaze. So welcome Draco. Let's see how far he can go up. Oh, that's again a little bit of a squirrely moment coming out. The second he goes speed 2 with a 5/10 improvement. Well done to Draco. The Mercedes of David Clark comes across the line and he puts his Mercedes into P5. So well done to David Clark there. Still away and still a gap to close up to the others. We're now on board the Alpine of Ezo, who's now 2/10 up. His teammate ahead of him is AG, who's also, I believe he's on an outlap, but we'll just go on board with Ezo, who is 2/10 up. So he'll probably replace Steve or Sabino King, but he pits because he wouldn't have enough time to go out and come back again and do another outlap. So you'll see some drivers pitting now because it's just, it's not enough time for them. Afrose, as I predicted, he'll be doing just the single run. Just 2 runs. The first run because he came out a little bit later, and just to get his setup right, honed in right, and then he'll come out on a single lap. Sir Spongy is now on a lap, and let's just have a ride on board with him. First time in Blaze division. Sir Spongy normally competes in the Inferno division, so this is his inaugural debut, as they will say. Through Radian he goes. Down the Camel Straight, has the Haas rear wing pops open, and let's see his first sector time. It should be in the 31s. Should easily be able to achieve that. And there he goes. He has the fastest first sector of anyone, faster than everyone else. So he's probably running a little bit of rear low downforce. No lockups going into that. Probably should have taken a little bit more speed through those corners, but it's stable on entry. And let's see his second split time. What we're looking for around a 111 to be competitive with the top guys. Could be a 112 or a low 112. But let's see. Through the Pith Path chicane he goes. Oh, and his time is a 1:14, but he has a 7 tenths improvement, which is really good. So this will place him, I believe, around eighth and seventh if he carries on this lap. This will be his final lap. There will be no more time to come in and change new tires. All drivers are either on out laps or in the pit lane, ready to come out on their out laps. And Spencer powers to the line and he puts in a ninth performance with a 1:42.9. Well done to him. Ezzo at the moment is blocking a Ferrari. I believe that Ferrari is Brutus. No, sorry, no, it was. Oh, no, it's fine. Switcheroo was on his outlap. Ezzo on his outlap as well. Lots of joking positions going on around here. Drivers desperately trying to come out and make the line because it is a long lap here, as you can see, 1:42. But you don't want to try to get to that time when you're out lap because you'll just absolutely tear your tires to threads. Cool, that's fine. Limitless Draco retires from this session. I believe he's not sure what happened, but maybe he wants to save a set of tires. But nonetheless, we'll just go on board with a couple of the Alpine guys. The first guy to go on his to start his lap, I believe it will be Holland. So let's see how high up he can go. Um, and I'll just keep an eye on board with everyone else. Ryan is currently on his lap as well. He's coming down. Yeah, he's about 8 tenths down on what he should be, and he's invalidated. I believe Ryan will be starting from the grid, so the RBs are starting from the back of the grid. We flick on board back with Haaland and see where he is and what he's up to. And he puts in the fastest first sector, which is a 31 dead. Incredible speed the Belgian is taking through these corners. And as he flies around, slight look up into that corner, but he gets the rotation and he gets the speed and he's early on the throttle. As he comes down and powers his way to P1 or the double Gaucho as he comes around. His split time should be around the 1:12, 1:11s, preferably 1:11 to be or to push himself further into P1. And as you can see, it's 1:13. It is a half a tenth improvement. I believe my calculations are wrong, so it should be a 1:13. Someone is in the gravel. I believe that is a Ferrari off someone. I believe it's Brutus in the Ferrari, but the other Ferrari is invalidated. Oh, the Ferrari is in the mud currently right now when it comes to qualifying, but Haaland is powering himself to the line and he will put in a 2,000th improvement. Just a 2,000th improvement. Next across the line, I believe it's there is something going on with people blocking each other, but I'm not too sure what's happening. But we'll just go back on board with Ezzo. Ezzo is 5 tenths up on his personal best. This will place him around P7 area. And he goes to P4 for 6 tenths improvement. Well done to Ezzo. Next across the line will be F. Rose, who has a 4 tenths improvement. He needs something big in this final sector to be able to compete for P1. As he powers down the line and he goes P2. Well done to F. Rose. Next across the line is the Williams of Riza, who's in P8. Then we have a few other drivers coming across the line. I believe that is Tonga. Run up to the line and Hefstar. So Tonga and Hefstar is in P14 and 11 respectively. David Clark is P6. The other Ferrari of Switcheroo, I don't know yet, he's put it into the wall. Kermack is now coming up to the line. No, he's going into the pits. Not too sure what is happening here, but that is qualifying for you completed. So Haaland takes P1 in his home race, hometown in Belgium. Afros P2, Limitless Rico, who retired early in the session. It was enough for P3. Ezo P4 and AG P5. That completes an Alpine, I believe that's a third row lockout for Alpine. Well done for them. David Clark in P6. Switcheroo, I don't think, could get a final lap in. That's P7 for him. Reza and Steve is in P9 and 8 respectively. SM, who's his first race with us, is in P10. Mustafa Spongy is in P11 and P12. Well done to Helen, as I mentioned, who's in P1. Starting from the back of the grid, who's on a last to first challenge is Law or Kieran in P18. Ryan is in P17, couldn't get a lap in. Karamak, P16. Brutus, P15. Tongue, P14. Alex and Spongy, the two Brits, is in P12 and 13. But right up at the front, we'll have a look out for this top 5 battle. Helen versus F Rose. Who will be the king of Spa? Stay tuned. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is almost time. I believe drivers, uh, director, let me know when it's counting down. And what is the weather? I believe it will be dry, but it's almost time. Drivers, get your setups ready and be prepared to go down to turn one. Please, no contact in La Source, and be careful through a ridge. I know that there's incidents there, so you can back out and live to fight another day as opposed to taking another driver out. So do bear that in mind. But we have 22 laps of absolute thrill and amazement to come your way. So do stay tuned. Race director didn't tell me when it was starting, but 5 laps and away we're going. Thank you very much, guys. And off and we going. And Helen gets an amazing start, but so does Helen. And Helen tries to go around the outside of him, but Helen lives to fight another day. No contact in. But there's contact between in the Red Bull with Alex Hendricks, Hefster, and SM. I believe the Red Bull just got too early on the power and took out 2 drivers. But up ahead we have F Rose directly behind Holland. No safety cars. All drivers look like they're through. I hope there's no damage there. But let's see what the tire is that everyone's opted for. So we have Limitless Rick on the soft, 2 guys, most guys in the mediums, Ezo and Law on the hard tires. As you can imagine, Steve getting past Switcheroo early on. And Switcheroo gives them the space, respectful racing there by the pair. And through Pawn they go. Highlanders pulled a 6/10 gap to F Rose. Can F Rose stay off the pace of Highland? Highland wants pure domination in his home country. He told me earlier today that he is trying to win this, but down below we can see Alex has got back in the DRS of Brutus, and Hefster and SM is trying to get back in the DRS of them as well. They've put up very, very nicely to the train, but David Clark is breathing down the back of Ezo. David Clark is trying to get past his hard tire runner of Ezo. Remember, these hard tires take a very, very long time, and the Mercedes goes down the inside of one cars, and he gets past Ezo. Well done, great overtake by Ezo. But look who's on the scene already. Steve gets back past, or trying to get past David Clark, but Steve gets past Ezo. Ezo's getting eaten up in this field, and now Switcheroo is getting past Ezo. Back up to 7th place, Switcheroo is. Brutus gets past Kermack. And now all drivers are back within the DRS train. Law is dropping away from his teammate of Ryan, so Law needs to pick up this pace immediately. But who also needs to pick up this pace is AG, as David Clark gets past AG. AG is overtaken by the Mercedes driver who's teammates with Holland. So this is an interesting time to be a Merc driver because it looks like they have the pace at the moment as David Clark is on an absolute mission to punch himself a ticket up onto the podium. F-Rose sticking very, very tightly to Holland, who's currently leading the way. Limitless Rico is not making a crazy, crazy impression on these soft tires, but we know that he loves and he's an absolute sucker for an alternative strategy, but he will need to pit early on these soft tires. And for those of you asking, what is the actual strategy? So the fast strategy is, well, Brutus got a 3-second penalty. Back to the race, the fastest strategy is soft tires, lap 8, or the pit window opens and you box onto the medium tires and you go to the end. Or you can box on lap 6 on those soft tires and you switch to the hard compound tires to the end, because remember, Spa is very punishing on your tires. I believe Highland, again, sets the fastest lap, could be looking to go to a soft compound of tires, so he could be looking to go to medium to soft, but down the inside goes Steve, and Steve takes the lunge on AG, and Steve gets past AG on his soft compound of tires. I don't think AG is fighting that too much, but up through Radion and through a Rouge, Switcheroo does an amazing Switcheroo move on AG and he passes the Alpine. David Clark has a mighty gap to close, and Switcheroo's now down the inside of Steve. What an amazing move from Switcheroo, who just set the fastest first sector. Wow. 2 moves in the space of 1 corner. And now Switcheroo sets his sights after David Clark and is trying to get a podium. So the battle for P4 is on. P3 is drifting away ever so slowly. Tong gets past Reza past Tong. I believe they had a slight bit of contact there, but batched that out in the steward's room. But not too far adrift is Alex Hendricks, who's 2 seconds away. Remember, they were really, really down at the beginning of this race due to a contact he made at the first corner, but nevertheless, he's not too far from his rival in Reza. Just Ryan between them, so 2.6 seconds the gap is to bridge. But up ahead we can see F Rose has now dropped out of the DRS from Highland. Highland has put the burners on, and it's 1.4 second the gap is. Limitless Draco's also dropping away from F Rose. I believe those stock tires are getting aka cooked. Brutus is coming into the pit lane. It looks like he's looking to retire in the pit lane. I'm not too sure, but we'll see. Lovely stuff there. Sir Spongy gets past Low on his hard tires. I believe those medium tires are coming into their own now for Sir Spongy as he sets his sights off Alex Hendricks, who's struggling. And actually, no, he's not. He's actually catching Tong, and Tong is having a nice little ding-dong battle here with Ryan. So it's all to play for the points in the top 10. Right, a full race overview. Highland leads this race by 1.2 seconds. F Rose is in a no man's land. He's currently dropped Limitless Draco, but he cannot catch Highland, who's just slowly drifting away. Switcheroo has gotten past David Clark, and he's made that work. David Clark is dropping back from Switcheroo. Switcheroo is edging into the gap now from Limitless Draco. I believe the striking distance is 2 laps. From Switcheroo to Limitless Draco, those soft tires versus the medium of Switcheroo tires. Switcheroo will have those fresher tires to fight with. David Clark is now being chased by the Alpines. So it's going to be David Clark versus the Alpines of AG. David Clark will not have the DRS. Let's just pop on the driver telemetry to see what's happened. David Clark has no ERS to play with either. So the Alpines will be eating him up down the Camel Straight, and it should be a 5-6 for Alpine once they get past him, and there they go. There they go. David Clark is trying to fight slight contact with Ezo from David Clark there as he tries to contact, but Ezo is still there. Sends David Clark wide. Steve is right on the scene to collect any scraps that's left on the table, but through goes AG on David Clark. David Clark cannot respond to AG as AG scampers up the road. Great bit of racing there. Has up ahead. Hallen extends his gap to 2.2 seconds over F Rose. Great bit of racing there. They have a very, very strong rivalry, but down below we can see now there is a crazy traffic jam happening with Ryan. I believe he's slow. In no lack of a better word, and Tongue, Alex Hendricks, and Serge Sponges behind him has. We can see Brutus gets another penalty for something. I don't know what for. But anyways, Alex Hendricks, Serge Spongy, Tongue is going absolutely at it as they come down to the bus stop chicane. Will someone make a move? Yes, they will. Alex Hendricks makes a dummy move on Ryan. Ryan is holding up the whole traffic. Now they're joined by Law in Kieran, who's trying to do a last first challenge, which I think at this point is virtually impossible for Law, unless he gets past these battle gaggle of cars and find crazy amount of speed. Sir Spongy is ghosted at the moment, but Law is right up his gearbox. But we can see Tongue is about to make a move on Alex Hendricks, but Alex Hendricks will get the DRS from Ryan. Ryan will definitely be passed this time round, and there he goes. There goes Alex. Right behind him is Tongue. Sir Spongy is a bit too far back to make the move now, but now Alex will now set off on his rival. Set off for his rival of Reza in the Williams car. Up ahead, we can see Switcheroo is now past Limitless Draco. My apologies, we missed that, but he's now past Limitless Draco. I remember I said that the strike distance was 2 laps, and he is through him. Switcheroo dragged AG and David Clark and all those guys along with him, but we have SM. Sir Spongy is now also past Ryan. I believe, yeah, Ryan, either his tyres are absolutely dead of those soft tyres, or he just has no pace. Whichever it is, these guys are now through. Tongue has lost the DRS from Alex Hendricks. As you can see, Alex is now putting his pace down and showing what he has. I mentioned earlier in qualifying that he is a absolute race he has incredible race pace, and he's a race merchant, to be fair, not a quality merchant. So he's now showing as he closes down on Reza. Other battles around the field as we can go along with David Clark and AG. And as they go again, we have someone off track. I believe that person was someone else as Ezo tries to go around the outside through a rouge on Limitless Draco. What an insane move that was. It failed, but now he's through down the Camel Straight as Limitless Draco has nothing to fight with. No ERS, no DRS. David Clark bum drafts AG, but to no avail. Just sticking right behind him. I believe AG just lost the DRS to Switcheroo as well, which is not good whatsoever. AG needs to up his pace to get back into Switcheroo's DRS, as David Clark will eat him up on the next straight. The two Alpines definitely need to work together here to pressure David Clark into making a mistake or to pit early. Right, there is an incident with Brutus at the moment. Brutus has crashed and caused a safety car. He's still moving, but there is a safety car on board. Safety car on board. Brutus has lost his front wing by himself. Up ahead, we can see Highland pitting, F Rose pitting, Switcheroo pitting. I believe they're all going to go to the hard compound of tires. This is good for them. David is pitting. Ezo, what will he do? He has no choice but to go to the medium compound tire. That is not good. Limitless Draco pitting. Again, this is not good for anyone else that's not on a medium compound of tires. Spongy pitting. Every single driver on track is pitting. Which means that there can be a lot of double stacking. As you can see, there's a few drivers waiting in the pit lane for the teammates to leave, but everyone is out. The order has been rejumbled, and Highland's gap has been eradicated. Ezo is on the freshest compound of tires and the softest compound of tires in the medium tires. Tong, Law, and Ryan will all be on medium tires to attack everyone with. Ezo, as we know, is a proven race runner. He is absolutely rapid, and he can bring it to the top guys when it's his day. Because he's on those medium tires, the restart will be a lot easier for him. What will F Rose do? F Rose knows what happens if he lets Haaland go. Will he dump his ERS at the beginning, try to get that lead back from Haaland, and just fend him off for the rest of these, I believe it's 12 laps or so, 14 laps. So yeah, it is something interesting to keep an eye on. Indeed, cosplay is working perfectly. So race director, you cannot hear him, but how has this affected your race? Yeah, the safety car. Uh, it's good. It's good. If you can't hear him, it's good for the race director. So yeah, safety car is out. It will stay up for another lap until Brutus catches back up to the field. I believe he's 43 seconds behind, and he just crashed again. Oh my gosh. Um, uh, he has a I believe he's on new medium tires, so he'll be fine. So he can come out again and, excuse me, rejoin the pack. But the safety car will probably stay another lap until he joins. But how's this race played out for you, race director? Normally I'll have Sushi here to obviously speak with, but I'll speak to myself. Cool. Right. So it'll be Spongy versus Alex versus Reza. So it'll be really, really good to see how you guys. AG really didn't benefit from that safety car because he was so close to his teammate in Ezo. He had to wait, and AG is the main loser from this. AG lost one, two, three, four places to Ezo being to them double stacking, but they had no choice because if he went out again, he'd probably been last, to be honest. Now Brutus has caught up to the race, and I believe this is also Brutus's first race with us as well. So obviously, thank you for coming along. He joined the league today, and it's a previous race that myself and Spongy have raced him in the past in a previous league. So good to see him here today, and hopefully, obviously, he can move his way up the order. Safety car will be in this lap. All 18 drivers are still running in this race. There will be no retirements. There's been a few penalties. Alex has a penalty, which could come in handy for other drivers at the end of this race, depending on how it plays out. But safety car will be in this lap. Now, Spongy, how would you handle this restart if you were Haaland, knowing that there is the Camel Straight coming up? he he says defend for your life, and the person that is behind him is F Rose and Switcheroo. So I know. So it will be F Rose, Haaland, Switcheroo all versing each other. Um, and Ezo with the freshest medium tires on the grid. Remember, I told you, look at these drivers weaving left and right, trying to generate tire temperatures in these hard tires because they are so bad. Probably one of the worst tires on this game, or in any F1 game that we've had, these hard tires. But the medium tires are better race tires, better at generating heat temperatures, better at race starts, pretty much just one of the best race tires. But we have 13 more laps until the end, which means that those medium tires will be absolutely dead by the end of this race. Now, you think 13 laps is not a lot, but around Spa, it's a lot. It's like each lap is like 5 to 7% of tire wear. So you can imagine when it comes to lap 22 how those conditions will be. Safety car is in. Safety car is now in the pit lane. So Haaland has free reign to do what he does. And I believe he's off. He's gone now. Haaland is off now. Down to the bus stop chicane he goes. Into it. He, I believe, caught Rose by surprise a little bit. As you can see, oh, David Clark has a massive snap of oversteer. And someone is off. And that is Sir Spongy. Not too sure. I believe something happened, but F. Haaland has a mega start, 8/10 gap, burning his hot lap. F. Rose is on his medium lap. I don't believe he's trying to close it at all. Oh, now he's turned on his overtake a little bit just to defend from Switcheroo. The gap is now 1 second, and they're not even at the end of the Camel Straight yet. Haaland has an amazing restart. That's probably one of the best restarts I have ever seen from a driver. In all my time in league racing, amazing stuff. As Sir Spongy struggles to keep up with the pack in 6th place with an incident with Tonga in 11th place. As Tonga is now trying to attack Alex Hendricks, and Alex Hendricks is breathing down the neck of his rival in Rizza. David Clark is trying to get past AG. AG is not giving up, and AG is hanging around the outside, and AG tries to retain that position, but doesn't. David Clark is now through on AG in the Alpine. Steve is now the next driver up, who's trying to get past Limitless Draco. But guess who got past Switcheroo? Yes, indeed, it was Ezo. Ezo got past Switcheroo, and now Ezo's past F Rose. Rose is onto the grass, gave him room to breathe, and now Rose is past him. Sorry, Ezo is past F Rose. Now Ezo will now go after Haaland. The gap is 1.9 seconds. Let's see if those medium tires can drag him to Haaland. Will Rose allow him to stay in front of him and see what those medium tires can do? Remember, the warm-up is horrible. The gap is now 1.7 seconds. Haaland to Ezo. Ezo is an incredibly fast driver. Right behind him is F Rose. Will F Rose just stand by and just watch this second place go? Ezo gives him a wiggle. Ezo says, do not attack me. Will F Rose respect it? No, he won't. F Rose goes right back past Ezo. They have similar names, so my apologies if I mess it up. But Ezo is not happy with that, because in this sector, this is where the medium tires come alive. This is where the medium tires do their job, and you can see Ezo breathing down the neck of Rose, trying to say, let me by, let me catch up to Haaland, but I don't believe F Rose wants to comply. He wants to keep this P2 for himself. Brutus has another 3-second penalty. And Switcheroo is still on the back of this. Steve has lost touch with the top 4 drivers, and Limitless Draco's right on his neck. Sir Spongy has closed in on his teammate of Kermac of 5 seconds. I believe he's closed on 1 second in the past lap, so that's really, really good to see. Rose is now 2.2 seconds behind Holland, and you can see Ezo is not impressed because he wants to utilize these medium tires to catch up to Holland, but Holland is doing a Max Verstappen S restart, a Max Verstappen S race, P1 in quali, lead every lap, and absolutely win his home race. That is a Grand Slam champion if I ever seen one. Now, as you can see, Ezo's now right on the back of F Rose, and Ezo is now through on F Rose. F Rose doesn't even fight. ERS is completely off on recharge mode at the moment. Limitless Draco is past Steve. Law is past Tonga. Hefster is past Ryan. Let's just look down and see what is happening because these lower fights are so interesting. Tong is trying his utmost to get past Law. Law is not having it. Law, who is Kieran, who started, remember, from the back of the grid. He had a qualifying ban to serve, and he's now in 11th place, directly behind Alex Hendricks. Alex Hendricks is right in the DRS of his rival of Razor. Razor's about to lose his DRS to AG, and Limitless Draco up ahead has lost his DRS to Switcheroo. So, interesting stuff here. I believe Holland has absolutely broken away completely from the field with a 2.2 second lead. Now there is an issue in Sector 3. I believe Ryan has retired in the pit lane. So well done to Ryan to come in. Thank you so much for coming. Lap 13 we go. What is happening on track now? We have F Rose for 3-second penalty. Trying to keep up with Ezo. Steve has gotten past Limitless Draco. Tong has a 3-second penalty as well. Wow, F Rose having a 3-second penalty drops him right behind Switcheroo. Steve can capitalize from this if he can get his car into gear and get within that 3-second penalty. The Red Bull driver, we've never seen him crumble like this before. This is not his best track to be fair, but yeah, he's under the pressure. Let's see how he responds. We have Switcheroo closing in. Gap by gap, bit by bit, to F Rose. Switcheroo on a hot lap at the moment. F Rose is on medium, trying to go around the outside of Ezo, and F Rose makes it work. What an overtake by F Rose in the Red Bull car. Amazing job there. And so that brings Switcheroo right back into the fight. David Clark and Limitless Draco. David Clark runs out wide. Limitless Draco leaves him the space. Deary me. And David Clark dives down the inside, pushes Limitless Draco on the rumble strips, not too far off. All clean races, down through Radion they go, up through Eau Rouge, clipping the apex. Limitless Draco has him lined up, but look who also has him lined up. AG's trying to get past. All drivers have DRS. Thanks to the likes of Steve. Then we have Ezo that got back past F Rose. I believe those two be ding dong battling all the way to the very end of the race. Sir Spongy has shown immaculate pace and has caught up to Brutus, and it is a 2-second gap now from an incident with Tong. Very, very interesting to see what is happening here. Who will be second? Will it be Ezo? Will it be F Rose? Will it be Switcheroo? On the very, very outset, will it be Steve? But Steve is holding up a DRS train of his own. It looks like Limitless Draco is faster than Steve, and you can see him closing into Steve in the middle sector. Steve is struggling, absolutely struggling with that Sauber car. Interesting stuff here. As F Rose, is he gonna go for the same overtake again, or will he stay behind? He will stay behind now. F Rose, Ezo, Switcheroo will follow this battle on board for the next 7 laps. Do not go anywhere as these drivers head down into La Source turn 1. Ezo will not have DRS to defend with because he's the leading car. He goes through a Rouge. Down they go through the Camel Straight. Pop. Wing off F Rose goes. Switcheroo's wing opens as well. Switcheroo goes on the attack. Dummies F Rose and hits into F Rose. Oh my gosh. I believe Switcheroo just went a bit too deep there. Didn't get the turning right. Tong is out. Tong is out. I am not too sure what's happened to Tong. I believe he is crashed. He's wrecked his car completely. No safety cars there, none whatsoever. And because of the incident with Switcheroo and F Rose, Ezo has made his way 1.1 second up the road. Wow. Not too sure what to say on that. Down below, we have Limitless Draco battling out of David Clark and Steve. I believe Steve got overtaken by both David Clark and Limitless Draco. AG is still behind Steve. That has brought back quite a lot of drivers back into the fight. But let's have a look at that. Limitless Draco, David Clark, Steve, AG, and then the other train that's following, Alex Hendricks, Vrizza, those two that cannot be separated, and SM. Now down the Camel Straight you go, but what I'll do before I do that, I'll switch on board with F Rose. F Rose versus Switcheroo. Will F Rose go for the move? No, he won't. And we have a bit of commentary from Tong. Tong says he pushed me off the track. And down the inside, and there's a collision between Steve and AG. I believe AG popped his front wheel into the chicane, but there was just no space. It was a closing gap. Steve took that space and there was a collision. Could be a racing incident, could be a report. Let's see what comes from it. I am not sure. I need to see a replay from both drivers' POV, but I hope there was no damage done to AG's front wing there. But AG luckily is still within DRS. And sorry, back what I was saying on Tong. Tong said someone pushed him off track several times. Not too sure what's happening with that. Tong, if you're listening, please do lodge a report and we will have a look at it. Again, thank you so much for coming every single week. We really appreciate you. And yeah, I hope to see you next week, my friend. Up ahead, we can see the gap between Highland and Ezo is 5 seconds. Incredible stuff. F Rose is pushing Switcheroo around the corner. Who's ahead of Switcheroo? We can see the person's Ezo. F Rose definitely wants this win back. He wants that second place because it's a very tight championship. As you know, Highland will be here every week. I hope F Rose will be here every week, and it'll be good to see these guys go at it every single race. So incredible stuff there. Special shout out to Law as well, from the back of the grid all the way to P11. He's done amazingly. As now Switcheroo goes for the move on Ezo, and that P2 is his. Well done to Switcheroo there, but could there be a penalty coming Switcheroo's way post-race? I'm just adding that for dramatic effect. I don't know. Let's see if Rose decides to file a report. But Switcheroo goes out wide, touches the gravel, and look who's pushing him through Puyon corner. It is Ezo. Ezo's tires at this point is not as fresh as the hard tires. This is where the hard tires come into it. 5 laps remaining, 5 laps to go. Ezo, Sucharu, F Rose, who will come out in P2. P1 is already written already. It's Haaland. Down below, David Clark in the next Mercedes is in P5, 5 seconds from the gap to F Rose. Limitless Draco, Steve, AG, incredible stuff. Spongy is right up the tail of Brutus. Can Spongy make this work? Let's see this now. Spongy's coming up to bust up chicane. His teammate K-Mac. Spongy will not come last this race. He will not afford it. He's not using any ERS at all. But yeah, we'll just go on board with the top guys at the moment now, just to see how they're getting on. As they pull out of Sucharu's DRS, and F Rose takes second place and leads this mini group behind Haaland. And F Rose now is leading, and I believe he wants that because remember, whoever is leading into the second to last lap is at a disadvantage. So will these guys just hold their positions and not overtake and just wait till the very last lap to overtake? So DRS chicken, but it's mind games as well, because you don't want to be the driver leading into down the Camel Straight. It's such a long straight. You can build up so much ERS all the way to 100% and then attack. It'll be very, very silly if you started leading into the last section. Law gets a 3-second penalty. That is not good. Let's just have a look at the penalties now. So the details of the penalties. F Rose has a 3-second penalty. Everyone has a 3-second penalty except for Brutus with an 18-second penalty. Back to the tyre. Everyone is on similar tyre age. F Rose scampers off up at the top of Ridge down the Camel Straight. Rizza gets a 3-second penalty and Alex gets past Rizza. Do not want to miss that move. Incredible move there by Alex to get past his rival in Rizza. And now we have Rizza, who will have the DRS on Alex. And there he goes, lines him up. There is a collision. Oh my gosh, there's a collision. I missed it completely. A collision between Ezo, F Rose, Sucharu. I'm not too sure what happened, but they have lost touch completely. There's now a 3-second gap between Sucharu and F Rose, and now a 2-second gap between Ezo. I should not have Sucharu from that battle. I am so sorry, guys, to say that, but that is unfortunate. Let's see if yes, Ezo has wing damage. Ezo has wing damage, and look who's behind him. It's Limitless Draco. Ezo's front wing is absolutely gone. Sucharu's front wing is intact, and up ahead, yes, F Rose's front wing is intact as well. Limitless Draco is now breathing down the back of Ezo. These guys are hunting him down like sharks. Is it worth him pitting now? No, it's not, because if he pits now, he will come out probably just behind Spongy, probably behind Brutus. It's not worth it for him to pit. It was probably worth it for him to just push through these next 2 laps and try to make something of it. What will he do? He will carry on. There we go. And it will be 5 drivers, about 5 drivers trying to fight for P4. Ezo, Limitless Draco, Steve, AG, and David Clark. Who will get P4? The climatic fight of P2 has come to an end, but it gave us a climatic fight for P4. So now we're on board with Limitless Draco, who will be the first driver past the wounded car of Ezo. Next, is Steve. Will Steve make it work? No, he won't. But there was a slight tap there from David Clark to Steve, but it's all fine, all good. All drivers are through. It's perfectly all right. But as you can see, Ezo does not have the same turning abilities when it comes to the front end biting that Limitless Draco does, but he's making it work nonetheless. The gap between Efros and Citrus is now 4 seconds. They're in a no man's land, so yeah, it's pretty much written. Highland, Efros, Citrus, that's it. Who will take P4? It looks like it's Limitless Draco, but Ezo is putting on a valiant defense and a valiant attack as well on Limitless Draco. Can he make this work? I believe, yeah, Brutus, something happened to Brutus. Steve, something's happened to Steve, I'm not too sure what. Sorry guys, I'm just missing quite a lot. Both Law and Steve are pitting at the moment. I am not too sure why. Pitting, Steve has retired from this race. When you have these long span of commentary, it can be a bit difficult. I'll just find out what happened to Steve. And Switcheroo has a 3-second penalty. That's not good. Switcheroo has a 3-second penalty. Guess who's in within 3 seconds? The Limitless Draco is 1 lap left. Wow. This is crazy. This is intense. Very, very intense. Ezo is doing a valiant job hanging on to P5 from David Clark. AG is battling with David Clark. AG is trying to go around the outside, but David Clark is still there. David Clark retains that position. Down to bus stop chicane they come. You want to be the man behind another man. No Diddy. In this final lap, going into this final lap. Due to the DRS, I need to clarify myself there. But we have Ezo, who's directly behind Limitless Draco. He has a DRS, he has his ERS, it's open. So is Limitless Draco, but Limitless Draco has run out of deployment. Ezo is on a hot lap. Ezo will get P4 if he can get enough top speed to get past the McLaren. And which way will the McLaren go? It is all written in the stars, and that is it. That is done. Ezo gets past Limitless Draco, but now will he be in the DRS range of Switcheroo? If he does, that will be one hell of a miraculous thing. Yeah, he doesn't have the front end in the middle sector to bite. I believe Limitless Draco would have had it. David Clark held off AG. Rizza is battling with Alex Hendricks. You can see the absolute, how that Red Bull looks so filthy. It has been in the trenches today. Sir Spongy is right behind his teammate of Kermac. I believe he's going to overtake him or not. But nevertheless, up ahead we can see the man from Belgium in his home race, donning the purple helmet in the Mercedes. His name, you know him, you love him, Haaland Marvinovic. He has done it once again and puts in the fastest lap of the race. Well done to him. Followed by F. Rose in the Mercedes P2. Who will be coming home in P3? Will it be? It will be Switcheroo. But David Clark comes to take P4. Ezo's in P5. Amazing stuff from Mercedes driver. P6 is AG, Limitless Dracos P7, Reza P8, Alex Hendricks P9, and SM on his first race with us is P10. Well done. Hester is P11. Sir Spongy comes around, overtakes Low, overtakes Kermac, overtakes Brutus from something annoying that happened at the restart, safety car restart. He is in P12. Low P13. Kermac coming up to P14, and Brutus Racing finishing his lap in P15. Well done to him. Wow, that was an action-packed race. Thank you so much for joining us, guys. If you have any comments, any reports, please lodge it within the 24-hour period, and we will review it. Thank you so much for joining us. Well done again to Marvinovich O'Halloran. The next race on the calendar will be the one, the only, Monza. We went there last time, but it will be Monza now in round 2 next week, 8 p.m. Do not miss it. Be there or be square. Thank you so much. Well done to the Mercedes driver again of Marvin. Great job, great battle between Alex, F Rose, and Switcheroo. Until next time, I've been your host, D. Thank you very much.